The purpose of the Rosalind Carter channel is to inform people about the life of Rosalind Carter. I have certain drawings that I've done of her, and I'm hoping I can do some of those as just separate videos where I just kind of like show a few and talk about them and how they relate to either her time as First Lady or just things in the pop culture at the time. And really, I want to have other forms of content that still give ideas of things relating to her life, like her early life, right? Losing her father as a teenager, and then having to become like the third parent to her younger siblings. That's all stuff that I find really interesting. Her courtship with the future president was also something that pretty much began as she had been conceived, and I would say that the early campaigns, like those early years of marriage, because she gets married very young, and has children young as well, are things I'd like to go over. And the term as First Lady is also interesting because she is her husband's partner in everything that he does. I can so appreciate when there is a person in your life, whether it's a sibling, a parent, a significant other, that just completely throws themselves into something that you want to do with almost no regard for their own ambitions. Like, I have no doubt in my mind, and I even, as I was reading through her memoir, when she talks about how, back in her day, it wasn't thought that women could be career women or just be able to like have their own careers independent of their husbands. And I guess, and obviously that is a makes her, and I guess in a way, a product of her time, or at least someone who recognizes that things did change from when she grew up to when she was in middle aged. But what I like so much about that line in the memoir is that she, in spite of mostly being defined as the wife of Jimmy Carter, is still an important person in her own right. Um, a very serious mental health advocate whose time advocating for those issues, started in the White House and certainly didn't end there. And the only thing I find kind of frustrating is that we don't have as many, just because so much of, again, her life is defined by who her husband was, and just there's not like really a period where she's kind of like independent of her own, like some others, such as Hillary, right? You have kind of an issue where it's harder to go over the retirement years, so like all of the rest of her life after 1981, the last 40 years of it, and which is really lame because she's got this big retirement, very long retirement, and most of the time things are not talked about that much. It kind of gets skimmed over a little bit. And I do find that sad because she is interesting. She is um, one of the most important first ladies. The political activism that she had during her husband's term was something that it started with Eleanor Roosevelt, Lady Bird Johnson, to an extent, Betty Ford, but it really takes off with her. And it's just unfortunate that we don't really teach this type of stuff. People really do just know her as Jimmy Carter's wife, and I think that we should try to look at all aspects of her 90 plus years in a way that's actually conducive to learning things. And I would say that when it comes to political figures from Georgia, there are only three people that I hold as being from an objective standpoint more important than her. Martin Luther King, who I don't think I need to explain him at all. Uh, President Carter, as he is the only Georgian from to become president, I should say, and the former U.S. Senator Richard Russell, who actually served as an early figure of at least public influence for Jimmy during his runs for governor. But no, but besides the three of those, I think she is the most significant political figure to come out of Georgia. Um, I don't count Coretta Scott King because she's not originally from Georgia, but you get the idea. Like of the people that were born in that state, she is at least in the top five in terms of most significance. And even though this is like mostly Rosalind stuff, I do want to make things relating to President Carter as well. It's just she would be the central focus here because I think she's been kind of like in his shadow for so long. So just expect videos about her early life, her years in planes, and of course during the gubernatorial tenure and the White House, and then the retirement. About 5 or 6 different periods that we can just go over and have videos relating to. So I'm gonna try. I won't be uploading stuff every day, but it'll hopefully be often enough to where we can see a boost in followers.